فعند ذلك يا سلمان تكون أمراء فسقا. At that time, the leaders will be transgressors. And it states, وزراء فجرا. The ministers will be unrighteous. And it states, وَأُمَنَاءُ خَوَنَا. And trustees will be treacherous. Trustees. These three groups will be corrupt. And it states, يُضِيعُونَ الصَّلَوَاتِ. They will not pray. وَيَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهْوَاتِ. And they will follow desires. And it states, وَيَتْبَعُونَ الشَّهْوَاتِ فَإِنْ أَدْرَكْتُمُوهُمْ فَصَلُّوا صَلَاتَكُمْ لِوَقْتِهَا. If you happen to meet them, pray your prayer on time. This is how it should be translated. Meaning, if you happen to meet a leader, then when prayer time comes in, don't follow him and miss the prayer. Go and pray your prayer on time. This is if you happen to meet the leader. Otherwise, the ulama have mentioned that the leader should come to the ulama. The ulama should not go to the leader. This is the fiqh, the jurisprudence. If the leader comes to visit the alim, it is good. But if the scholar goes to visit the leader, it is bad. And Imam al-Sha'rani rahimahullah has written a whole book on this called Tanbihul Mughaffalin. And here, at this point, shall appear a sabyun from the east and a sabyun from the west. It states, shall appear a sabyun. The word is what? Sabyun. Yaji'u sabyun min al-mashriqi wa sabyun min al-maghribi. It states, shall appear a sabyun from the east and a sabyun from the west. Sabyun with sin. Now the word literally means, the word sabyun means prisoners, or people who take others as prisoners. And it states, describing them, it states, جُثَاؤُهُمْ جُثَاءُ النَّاسِ وَقُلُوبُهُمْ قُلُوبُ الشَّيَاطِينَ. They shall have bodies of human beings, but their hearts are satanic hearts. لَا يَرْحَمُونَ صَغِيرًا. They will have no mercy for the young. وَلَا يُوَقِّرُونَ كَبِيرًا. And no veneration for the elders. These are people who will come from both the east and the west. Some people have tried interpreting this to mean America specifically, because America falls in east and west. If you go from the east, you will reach America. If you go from the west, you will reach America. But the hadith is general to all those nations which have colonized the Muslim world. Placed near France, USA, Russia, Europe. This is the sabyun with its tentacles going everywhere in the Muslim world, not having mercy on the young and not having any veneration for the old. Surprisingly, Al-Imam Yusuf al-Nabahani rahimahullah ta'ala did not place a note on this. He places a note, generally he did not place a note on this. It states the hadith, عند ذلك يا سلمان يحج الناس إلى هذا البيت الحرام. At that time, O Salman, people will make pilgrimage to this sanctified house, to Makkah al-Mukarramah. وَتَحُجُّ مُلُوكُهُمْ لَهْوًا وَتُنَزُّهًا. Their kings shall make pilgrimage for amusement and pleasure. وَأَغْنِيَاؤُهُمْ لِلتِّجَارَةِ. Their rich shall come for trade in Makkah al-Mukarramah. وَمَسَاكِنُهُمْ لِلْمَسْأَلَةِ. Their poor shall come to beg. وَقُرَّاءُهُمْ رِيَاءً وَسُمْعَةً. And their reciters for showing off and ostentation. Some scholars have glossed on this, saying that the reciters meant here are the reciters of the Qur'an. Those people who recite al-Qur'an al-Kareem will go to show off and recite Qur'an in order to show off. And the ulama also, they will go there to show off their knowledge. And because people will be gathering from different nations and to show their knowledge off in front of different people. Every group will be a maftoon, meaning in a tribulation. The rulers will go for amusement and pleasure. Look at the palace King Khalid built on Jabal Abi Qubais. And the rich will come for trade. Look at the hotels that are being built now. Everyone who goes there for trade. Their poor shall come to beg, mainly Pakistanis, unfortunately. And they recite us for showing off and ostentation. This is the current state of Makkah al-Mukarramah. So you have people living in these rooms for amusement, and we used to call this shaitan towers. Shaitan towers. Directly outside al-Masjid al-Haram. So they asked, this will happen, O Messenger of Allah? وَيَكُونُ ذَلِكَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ قَالَ نَعَمْ. He said, yes. وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ عِنْدَ ذَلِكَ يَا سَلْمَانِ يَفْشُ الْكَذِبُ. Yes, by the one who has the soul of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his power, at that time, lying will spread. Now, lying in one form is something which we call the media. This is one form of lying, but there are many forms of lying. If someone wanted to make a lie regarding another individual, it can be done overnight and placed on the internet and published in the news, and this will become common. This is not only that form, lying generally will become common. وَيَظْهَرُ الْكَوْكَبُ لَهُ أَذَنْبُ, which means at that time a comet will appear with a tail. This sign has already happened. Al-Imam Muhammad al-Barzanji rahimahullah ta'ala mentions that this comet has appeared not once but many times. And the comet that shall appear before Al-Imam al-Mahdi radiallahu anh has also appeared already. He mentions that some of the signs that have taken place, one of them is that the comet shall appear. And that individual, Applewhite, who I showed you at the beginning, who committed mass suicide with his group, Applewhite considered Comet Hale-Bopp as having an alien spaceship behind, and he committed suicide with his group so they can go on that spaceship. But the Comet Hale-Bopp has appeared also. Which particular comet is meant, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam know best. وَتُشَارِكُ الْمَرْأَةُ زَوْجَهَا فِي التِّجَارَةِ. A woman will help her husband in trade. Now why this is mentioned is because in trading, in the old times, men would go out to trade themselves. Very few women would trade. Like for instance, Sayyiduna Umar radiallahu anh had a woman in charge of the market. But that was one woman. It was not common for women to take part in trade. This does not mean it's haram. This is just telling you it's a sign of the end of times. And some of these signs does not mean that the action is haram. Some of them are and some of them are not. It is just a sign of the end of times. It also alludes to the failure of the markets. That markets will go so weak that women will begin to trade with men in order to make up for the losses that are acquired. وَتَتَقَارَبُ الْأَسْوَاقُ قَالَ وَمَا تَقَارُبُهَا قَالَ كَسَادُهَا وَقِلَّةُ أَرْبَاحِهَا. And the markets will become close. Taqarub will become close. He inquired, Sayyidina Salman radiallahu anh said, what is their closeness? And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, it's loss and lack of profit. Now we are facing the economic downturn. And this happens every 20 to 30 years. That the markets have failed. And the markets will continue failing until the dollar collapses. And when the dollar collapses, we will realize the importance of having gold and silver. عند ذلك يا سلمان يبعث الله ريحا فيها حيئات صفر فتلتقط رؤوس العلماء لما رأوا المنكر فلم يغيروه قال ويكون ذلك يا رسول الله قال نعم والذي بعث محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم بالحق رواه ابن مردويه. Here what it states, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send a wind with yellow snakes to fall on the heads of the ulama because of the evil they see and do not change it. The many evils which have taken place and continue to take place. Market success or failure, a new debate. This is what's happening now, that the markets are beginning to fail.